Hi, good evening and welcome to the Jon Gaunt Show. Yes, coming live from deepest, darkest Oxford today. Sorry it's a bit early. Let's get started though. Loads to talk about. The United Kingdom is being run by clowns from the top to the bottom. And I'm going to show you why I say that and how I say it. And you're going to tell me whether you agree or not as the show progresses. The UK is broken. Britain is broken. And the people who are meant to be running it refuse to admit it. Today, we've had the Chief Constable of West Midlands basically sacked. He hasn't quite gone yet, but he will be, because the Home Secretary Shabina Mahmood has no confidence in him. And no wonder. The guy is a clown. He's not just a clown, he's a corrupt, lying clown. But he's just part of a wider malaise. Because under this government led by Keir Starmer, we've seen nothing but confusion, constant U-turns, and a total absence of what I call leadership. Whilst our public services are collapsing left, right, and centre, trains, roads, cars, that's almost a film title, isn't it? Public patience is now running out. From policing and prisons to water. Can you believe that in 2026 people are having to have bottled water down south at the moment? What about the profits those companies have made? Then we've got energy with Ed Miliband, who wants to bankrupt the country whilst we all get a windmill in the garden. We've got transport and, of course, immigration, legal and illegal, completely out of control. Everybody you talk to says, well, nothing works anymore, or it doesn't work the way it should. And ordinary people like you and I are paying the price. So today's live interactive show asks the questions politicians won't answer. How did we get here? And how the hell do we fix it? Good afternoon to everyone who's joined in already. Spread the word. Share the stream. This is an important show, and I want your views. I say Britain is led by complete and utter clowns. Let's go through it and see whether you agree with me. Put your comments in the comment box, and I'll come to you straight away. If you're watching this show later, I had to do it early because I haven't got all my lighting with me and it'd be too dark. So if you're watching it on the repeat, welcome as well. You can comment at any time that you wish. And of course, you can still donate if you wish as well. Let's get started then. So let's start at the top. The UK, Britain, is being run by clowns. It's gone on for a long time. This isn't just Starmer's fault. But Britain, without a shadow of a doubt, is in chaos. And no one in charge seems to know what they're doing anymore. We've got a lousy Labour government led by Keir Starmer that's already performed 13 or 14 U-turns. It's hard to know whether it's 13 or 14. Different political correspondents give you a different number. But basically, they're making it up as they go along. There'll be another U-turn this week as well. We've had the one on the pubs, the one on the farmers, the one on the winter fuel allowance. I've almost forgotten most of the U-turns, but he'll do it again soon. The pub one's happening at the moment, isn't it? You can't run a country where you put out a policy, everyone goes apeshit, and then you decide, oh, we won't do that then. We'll reverse it. It just looks like you're out of control. And if you look like you're out of control in this country, what does it look like to the rest of the world when you go on your foreign trips, Starmer? I mean, even Starmer's own party doesn't know what the Labour Party stands for now. They don't know what the direction of travel is, other than heading for the end of a cliff and an electoral wipeout. And I think this all comes down to a thing we've talked about a lot before. Whatever happened to common sense. Yes, common sense. If he wanted to be popular overnight, forget all the gimmicks, forget all the sound bites, forget the EU, talk about what people want to talk about, which is the cost of living. So you don't attack the farmers, you don't attack, for example, the winter fuel allowance, and you don't attack the pubs. The other big thing that everyone's worried about is immigration. Now, you might not like that, Keir Starmer, and it might not be like that in your world, but ordinary people are fed up to the back teeth with immigration, both legal and illegal, particularly illegal. The Dover flip-flop boys, they've had it up to here with it. And they've had it up to here with you spending the money that we haven't got on these people. When anybody with an ounce of common sense knows that 95% of those people at Dover, they're not claiming asylum. Well, they will claim asylum, but they're not fleeing war. They're economic migrants. We have to do what Hungary has done. We have to do what Poland is doing, what Australia did years ago, and dare I say it, what Donald Trump's done as well. You have to make Britain great again. So you have to concentrate on British people and what they want. And what they want at the moment is to be able to go to the supermarket, go to the pub a couple of times a week, get their children educated, get rewarded for working hard, and don't want to see their money being pissed up the wall by people who claim they're fleeing persecution when they're clearly not. That's what's wrong. But the clowns can't see it because the clowns all went to the same clown school. Let's talk about the Chief Constable of West Midlands Police, who I've got to start off by apologising. I've been calling him Rutherford all day. I don't know where that came from. It's Craig Guildford, isn't it? What an absolute bozo he is. I said this at the time when he said there was a worry that these people from Tel Aviv, Jewish people, Israeli people, would be hooligans. I said, well, what if it was Galatasaray, the famous Turkish club that was coming, who have got a reputation for violence as well? Would he want to ban them? No. And do you know why? Because they is Muslim. He has been captured, this Chief Constable, not by Muslims, but by Islamist extremists. But there's loads of people like him in the establishment. Let's just think about what he did. He lied. He fabricated evidence to prove his case. Today, the clown wrote a letter to the MP's committee saying, not only that, I used AI, or didn't know it was AI. What a load of bullshit. I used AI, and AI made up a game that said Tel Aviv Maccabi had been in a game with West Ham. That game, that football game, didn't exist. AI, according to him, made it up. He also said they'd run a riot, and it was their fault in Amsterdam when they played Ajax. It's subsequently come out that that's a lie as well. It wasn't Tel Aviv Maccabi. And what's then come out is that the local Muslim community, and remember the people who stirred it up at the beginning, they said some of the community are armed, that was the word they used, and tooled up, and that they thought they would cause violence against the Jewish Israeli fans. What did Craig Guildford do? The politically correct, woke clown who was the Chief Constable of West Midlands Police, what he did was he banned the Jews from coming. And in fact, he made it worse. When some of them did turn up, he put them in a wired, fenced-off area that's a basketball court around the back of the Villa Park Stadium. How or why is it his job to choose between Islam or Muslims and Jews. Answer, it isn't. It's his job to police everybody fair and square. I said this at the time because I couldn't believe it when the story broke. I sniffed it out. I realised somebody was bullshitting, and I thought it was probably going to be him. He's a clown, a dangerous clown, because that could have kicked off into anything, couldn't it? But I still don't think he thinks he's in the wrong, because that common purpose, cultural Marxist view of the world, well, those people, they're in charge of everything. They're in charge of all our councils. They're in charge of education. They're in charge of further education. They run everything. They're so busy talking about diversity and so busy making sure they're politically correct. Look at the bloody coppers who have the rainbow laces. We need them to be tough, hard. You should be concerned if a copper pulls you over. They made up evidence for their political beliefs. And what I'm saying to you today, I could easily have just done a show about him, but it goes wider. Clowns to the left of me, clowns to jokers to the right. What song is that? It just reminded me of that. It also reminded me of Send in the Clowns. They're already here. They are all through our society. Same in America, although Trump's changing it. Same in Europe. These clowns who nobody's ever voted for, nobody's ever voted for their manifesto because they don't have one, they are in charge with their warped ideas of the world. That everybody, for example, turning up at Dover is fleeing persecution. When anybody with an ounce of common sense says bullshit. They're the kind of people who say, let's have breakfast clubs and tea clubs for kids. Let's pull people out of poverty. You keep giving them handouts, they won't work. But these people don't understand it. And Chief Clown, hold on a minute, Starmer, he lives in this bubble. He doesn't understand. And if you don't believe me, let's just go through where we are today. We've got a water industry. That means when you go surfing, you no longer see some fat bloke like me next to you on a board. You see a load of shit and turds. Sorry to be frank, but it's true. Our water quality is dreadful. Look at the rivers. And then on top of that, we've got people today down south who haven't had any running water for days. For days. How can that be right in probably the fifth strongest economy in the world? I'll tell you what, it can't be right. But the people who own it, they're all taking massive amounts of profit out of it. Most of the water companies are bankrupt. And then we've got trains. The trains don't work. And like my daughter, because I'm at my daughter's at the moment, as you know, she goes to London and she's bought a load of tickets in advance because they've had a sale on one of those apps. But you got to buy them months in advance. And then she said, when you're on the train, it's like the Gestapo are running it. They keep giving announcements. Make sure you've got the right ticket for this train. Otherwise, you'll have to buy another ticket at the full price. What is going on? It's public transport. The clue is in the title. Public. You should be able to just say, I'm going to get a train. And I know Labour are bragging that they haven't put the prices up. That's because they're too bloody high already. Here's my radical idea. The trains should not be in private hands because we effectively pay for it anyway. We're subsidising it like mad. Just like the water industry, gas and electricity. They should all be, and I put this in speech marks, they should all be renationalised. But when they are, they've got to be run by proper business people. I don't care how much we pay them, as long as they will run it and make it good for all of us, a reasonable price, but makes a profit for the country. Individuals should not be making money every time you have a pee or every time you have a glass of water. Old age pensioners shouldn't have to be thinking about, can I have the gas on? Can I have the electric on? No. But what will happen if they do that? They will put clowns back in charge. And then there'll be the usual bullshit. Oh, it can't work as a nationalised industry, so we'll have to privatise it again. This is so corrupt. Like with teachers. Let's have some teachers who talk about pride in our history, in our tradition, where we come from, our culture, rather than constantly telling our kids they should feel guilty about being British. No, no, no. Let's look at the prisons. Run again. We need them to be running with a little bit more like Officer Mackay out of Porridge. And I'm only half joking, rather than Barraclough. How have we got a prison system? Oh, well, I do know, because fat clown Lammy's in charge of it. How have we now got a prison system where they let people out accidentally all the time? And it was the same under the Tories. And we haven't got enough prisons. Build more prisons. Send back the 13,000 foreigners who are in our prisons. And then before you get to prison, you have to navigate two-tier justice, because most of the judges are clowns. Politically correct, woke, cultural, Marxist clowns. And then they have the audacity to say, oh, let's scrap tribal jury unless it's murder. No. And this is the next U-turn, by the way. This will be the 14th or 15th, because the British public is saying we're not putting up with it. Then they tried to force ID cards on us. He's had to U-turn on that today, because the British public are not going to get fooled again, as the Who would sing, or ever got the feeling you've been cheated by the Pistols. And then there's immigration, like I just said. We've got idiots who believe the flip-flop warriors. And then, if a flip-flop warrior gets into the country, which is pretty simple, then they get put in 4-star hotels. They don't get that in France. Why do we do that? Put them in army camps. Get rid of the squeezy stuff. I've said it so many times, I'm bored of saying it. But then some of these people, not all of them, rape our daughters, our women, our wives, our mums, our grannies. And we're meant to go, oh, well, that's okay. You know, the justice system will deal with them. Will it? Hellers like. Likewise, we have a situation where these people are not controlled. Put them in army camps. Don't let them walk into towns. Don't let them mix with our population until they've proved they are fleeing persecution. And then, in the great tradition of the British, if they've got a real need, look after them. But up until the point that we know they're legal, they should be treated quite tough. It should be hard. I'm not talking bread and water, but I'm not saying they should all be allowed to walk in and out of towns, which is what Starmer wants. Chief clown. Are you seeing how my mind's thinking here? The establishment has failed us completely. None of us have voted for this. There's not been a political... Well, there is now. There's Mad Zach, isn't it? The tit whisperer. He's now saying he'll do all this because, let everybody in. Oh, it'll be marvellous. There's no such thing as borders. At least he's honest. He wants to completely wreck the country. All the others are liars, like Starmer. And as you've noticed, this isn't just an attack on Starmer tonight. Although, did you see Starmer having a go at Farage again in the Commons? The establishment has failed us. And, of course, there's no bigger example of this than the BBC, which is full of clowns. Charlie Caroli has taken it over years ago. In fact, Charlie Caroli's mate is probably in charge. Remember him? He used to always have his tongue out. It's in a terrible position. Britain is being run by clowns. That's why nothing works. That's why nobody's in charge. That's why nobody ever takes responsibility. That's why this Guildford guy in Birmingham thinks he can cling on like a limpet at Padstow Harbour, even though now Shabina Mahmood says he's useless. And the final thing that these clowns do, they're scared stiff of Islamists, but they're racist because they're really scared now of all Muslims. They're the ones who are causing division. I'm not scared or worried about ordinary Muslims, not at all. I'm anti the Islamists, just like I'm not anti-immigration. I'm anti people illegally entering our country. That's what I'm anti. So we've got U-turn after U-turn under Starmer, and it's collapsing this country in front of our eyes. He is driving the country into the ground along with his other clown mates. Let me just go back to this Islamist thing. When there's another bomb attack, which there will be, we'll be told not to look back in anger. We'll be told to join hands and sing Kumbaya. And we'll be told that we're stronger together. We're going to be told, don't let the far right divide you, the mythical far right. That'll be the bullshit that comes out again. Instead of saying, we have got a problem with Islamists, listen to what I'm saying, extremists, terrorists. But what hope have we got when our chief clown, supreme clown, Keir Starmer, lets a man in who openly says, I hate Jews, who says white people are monkeys, animals, etc., etc., etc. You know what I'm talking about. That's what we've got wrong. And I tell you what, the establishment clowns are petrified. That's why that Chief Constable, Guildford, in Birmingham, made that decision. Focus on the Jews, don't focus on the Muslims, because we don't want the community to explode. It's a racist assumption because most Muslims would not have exploded. It's the Islamists, fanatics. There's still one guy in Birmingham who's saying, I'm supporting him. Any MP who supports this shit, get him out. I just mentioned a little tweet a few days ago about Zara Sultana. She was going on and on and on again about, she went on about Iran now, because Iran, it's all America's fault, evidently. She keeps going on about those middle-class twats who are on hunger strike. I just say, instead of bleating on here, Zara, get on to Deliveroo and send them around a pizza, because the British public don't care. They literally don't care. But she's an MP. She's an MP for Coventry. Elected as a Labour MP. She should have a by-election. Let's see how popular you are then, love. Yeah? But what I'm saying is there's clowns. And these clowns are wrecking our country. Right, that's me finished. Got loads of comments. I'll come to them now. I've got only 10 likes. Oh, I'm not happy about that. Come on, let's get some more. I know it's early in the day. You just had a 23-minute essay given to you on my view. Because today, every other talk show host will be talking about, oh, isn't it dreadful that he did this, the Chief Constable? He's the symptom. He's not the cause. The cause is clowns who are scared to stand up for Britain and the British. That's what's wrong. And if you agree with me, I want to hear from you. And if you want to donate, please just click the $ and donate whatever you can afford. Or alternatively, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. It's as simple as that. I've even put it on there now for you. Look. So that's what you've got to do. Let's get started. So many people here to talk to. Give me 2 seconds and I'll get the first one up. Where is it? Here it is. James, you're first today. James Hayes. Great work, John. Keep it going. I'm sure more people will discover your channel. Yeah, we're on a slow burn, on a slow build. I think we're up to 6,600 and something now in terms of subscribers. I'm trying to get to 10,000. So if you haven't yet subscribed to Jon Gaunt TV, please do that. Numbers on Facebook and Twitter are great as well. So keep doing that if you can. But just help us out. Have you ever known a prime minister lie so brazenly, John? No, he's the biggest liar we've ever had as a prime minister. You're right, Nigel. And he just stands there and lies. I thought Kemi Badenoch today, I watched the whole of Prime Minister's Questions. It was a bit tedious, actually, but she still beat him into the ground because he knows he's lying. All his backbenchers know he's lying. All his cabinet know they're lying. But they're not turkeys, so they're not going to vote for Christmas, are they? This is the problem. Steve Harris, TV Steve Harris says, afternoon, Gaunty, afternoon. John, our government is being run by bad adult students. Well, I've said that for a long time. They said the adults were back in the room. No, it's the sixth form. But I'm going further now because I'm saying this goes through the whole of society. We've got clowns running all our major institutions. They don't believe in anything that we believe in. They just don't. They've got this different view of the world. They U-turned on the boozers because they hadn't realised the impact it would cause. What a useless shambles, says Craig Urquhart on Facebook. You're right, Craig. They didn't realise because they don't go to the pub. And even now, you've got to be careful. Everyone's thinking, oh, the pubs are safe. No. What he's done is divide and rule. He hasn't actually said what he's doing for the pubs yet. Have you noticed that? But secondly, he's not going to involve hospitality. So anybody running a cafe down the high street, they're still going to pay thousands in rates. They're still going to get screwed to the floor. My mate, who runs a hotel, small hotel, he'll still get screwed to the floor because what was being asked was the whole hospitality industry said, we need help. But in typical, cynical, clown-like ways, because clowns are always sinister. Have you noticed that as well? There's an edge to a clown. They have deliberately divided. So all the hospitality go and look after yourself. I think they'll even do it with pubs. I think they'll say, well, chain pubs can't do this. Weatherspoons and the rest. But they don't want pubs. The clowns don't want you congregating and talking in pubs. Why do you think they're trying now to control the internet? This attack on Elon Musk. I don't like those pictures. I don't think he should stop letting that happen. But there's other people doing it. And the bottom line is, I would rather Starmer was getting his knickers in a twist over the rape gangs, wouldn't you? I'd say that's a clear and present danger. Or the flip-flop warriors who are raping or harassing. I saw some videos today. One guy in Manchester just going up to loads of girls and basically saying, how about it? Lock him up. Deport him. Because it won't be long before he rapes somebody. How are the Labour Party still achieving 20% in the poll? Because there's a lot of divs out there, I think, is the answer to that, Nigel Parkett. It's Jon Gaunt, by the way. It's the Jon Gaunt podcast. We're a bit earlier today. We normally do them at 6. I'll be back at 6 tomorrow, so I'm going home in the morning. But I'm down in Oxford at the moment, dog sitting. That's why I'm having to do the show now. And I didn't do one yesterday. If I'd done one yesterday, I think I'd have got arrested because of what I wanted to say. But here we are today, and I'm hoping I'm getting you thinking. Hi, John. At last, the Home Secretary has no faith in the Chief Constable of South Midlands. It's not South Midlands, it's West Midlands. How long has this taken? Jess Phillips was sitting next to him, looking very uncomfortable. You're right, Terry, she was. But then she's scared stiff of the Islamists, isn't she? Because she nearly lost her seat. They're saying today that if the polls remain the same, most of the cabinet would be wiped out, including Starmer. Well, I don't want to wait 3.5 years for that to happen. I heard today on the radio, somebody said, well, we've only been in power 18 months. 18 months, it feels like 18 frigging years, doesn't it? Don't get me wrong. See, some people interpret what I'm saying as I'm supporting what the last shower of shite did, and I'm not. They're terrible as well. Boris let in 1 million people. So, I'm not there. I am worried that, what do you call it? What are they called this week? Reform are shooting themselves in the foot, though. I am concerned about that. Because although I've got a lot of time for Ben Habib, I've never met Rupert Lowe. I'm going to interview him soon. But they can't form a party and get the numbers quickly enough. Your best chance, if there's suddenly, because that's the next trick Chief Clown will pull. He'll try and go for a quick election. You mark my words. And as for the biggest clown of all, of course, although he's an irrelevance, Ed Davey. What do you think of him? Anyway, let's move on. They are out of control and hopefully out of government while we still have a country left to save, says Breezy. But that's the problem, Breezy. I'm saying we won't be in that position. The illegals are all, this is TV Harris, the illegal immigrants are all sponges. Well, if they're proved to be illegal, yes, they are. You're right. And we should kick them out. Illegal means illegal. End of story. No mores, no buts, and no bops. End of story. Illegal means illegal, says Ruben Senior on Facebook. Does that mean I can walk into New Zealand or walk to Australia or walk into America from my passport, through my document, throw my documents away, and nothing's going to happen? No. They're going to give me a hotel room, a house, and then I can leave on holidays at Christmas and go back and see my families. Come on, people in England. Get a grip of yourselves. It's ridiculous. Thank you, Ruben. I presume from that comment you don't live in this country. Be interested to know where you're from. Maybe you're from New Zealand or Australia. Thank you very much. Interesting point of view. The ones coming over on dinghies are scroungers. Well, that's the whole problem, Leanne. You don't know that for sure. So I say have a much quicker process. And if you haven't got a passport, I'm sorry, you're going to Ascension Island and we're going to assess you there. If you got a passport, we can assess you quickly. And if we say, well, there's nothing wrong with that country, get back. We'll take you back. Stelios, 15 for Turkey. Stelios, 23 for the Sudan. Do you understand where I'm coming from? I don't know. Where are we going next? John's on fire, says Nigel. Yeah, I am. I don't know why, though, because nobody's donating. I've not had one single donation for the last 2 or 3 days. Come on, help us out, please. I can't do this on fresh air. The Islamification of the United Kingdom is all planned. The United Kingdom will become an Islamic state by 2035, says Doogie6886 on YouTube. God help us all, said a friend of a friend of a friend. He's worried that he's got such extreme views, he's going to get locked up. Well, they're extreme, but also a bit stupid, because that isn't going to happen. Not if we stand up to it now. But you're right. There's increasing influence of Islamists, not Muslims, Islamists. They're the ones who bomb us and terrorize us. Yes, but fight. Kick them out. We'll have the same fight here in Canada. Again, lots of international callers today. Contributors, sorry. Hello, Susan Gamble. Thank you for your contribution today. I'm not saying anything today, John. Lol, says Tommy Mason. Why is not? Killing the wildlife too, says Susan. Yeah, there's been those accusations, hasn't there? Hi, John. Steelers wheel. What? Oh, Niven, you're talking about the song. Stuck in the middle with you. Yeah, it was Steelers wheel. Well done. Well done. Thank you for that. Stuck in the middle with you. Clowns to the left of me. What's it to the right? Something to the right in a minute. Craig Guildford is the epitome of the NKVD kicking your door in at 4 a.m. because you are on a list. What's the NKVD? Please don't use acronyms. I'm thick, right? I'm not necessarily up on it. Niven, clarify what you mean by that. I call them Starmer stormtroopers. That's what it will be. Southern Water are a complete disgrace. See, now people are picking up on the individual threads that I've put into this. They're a complete disgrace. This on top of the problems created in December last year. People are queuing for hours to collect water. Pubs and restaurants have been hit with a double whammy. The CEO who refuses to speak to the press earned last year 150 grand. I think it was more. Oh, sorry, bonus. Yeah, 150 grand bonus. Makes you proud to be British, says Terry Wheatley, really putting the boot into Southern Water. It's a disgrace. I'm into the free markets and the rest of it, but I think we have to accept that water, gas, electricity. Don't tell Sid, will you? Water, gas, electricity. What's the other one? They've all failed. The railways. They should be under public ownership, but run by business people, not clowns. But you see, that's the problem. Some of the business people now, They think they've got to be talking this language as well. Otherwise, they won't make any money. I told you about Chat GPT. Yeah. Any sort of suggestion of anything slightly out of the norm. Oh, they're on you. I have a row with my chat bot every day. In fact, I think I've got a better relationship with the chat bot than I have with my missus. Just a joke, Lisa. By the way, she's not happy. She's been by that big audit book next to the fire with just one log on it. Yeah. With Bob Cratchit. And Gaunt is making no money because no one's donating. She won't be happy. Sort it out, please. I go past a migrants hotel every morning, windows all wide open, despite near freezing temperatures. Yep, I know what you mean. Bussis, Benesque, now that the PCC Labour man has declined to dismiss the Chief Constable, yeah, that's the Police Crime Commissioner, he's declined to dismiss him until he has many meetings. He should also be gone. Yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be their decision. That the ultimate sacking of a Chief Constable, the Tories were wrong to take that away from the Home Secretary. I don't agree with it because I think in the end, yes, you've got to be careful about the politicisation of the police, but it's happened anyway, hasn't it? You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind hearing some coppers on that subject, please. Niven Casey. Layla Cunningham, Reform's London mayoral candidate, says she doesn't like the tag of being part of the Muslim community. She says she's British first and foremost. Do you know what? I haven't met her. I'd like to interview her as well. But I saw her say that the other day, Niven, and I actually did think, good on you, lass. That's exactly what we want. You should be English or British first. We got too much of this identity. How many times do you go on Twitter and stuff like that? Oh, this place is a cesspit. It's a sewer. Talking as a gay man, talking as a woman, and they actually write it. These people are pathetic specimens. I feel like answering back, but then you get into like a Twitter war and I can't be fagged. I feel like answering back saying, well, go on and fuck off. I hope the door doesn't bang on your backside as you leave. Why do these people are so self-important? They think they've got to tell us that they're leaving. We don't care. In fact, we're pleased. It's really bizarre, their attitude. Richard Bacon, you know, the coke snorting Blue Peter presenter, got chucked off a kids program for snorting coke. Here's one I made earlier. Here's a line I diced up earlier. Him, he keeps having a go at people. I can't remember who was having a go at the other. He doesn't even live in Britain. He lives in America. I just watched Prime Minister's Question Time. You mean PMQ is what it was called. This man can never answer a question. All he does is deflect with poorly written jokes and smears. He's a disgusting man, says Paul Fake on YouTube. I just want to say something to you on that, Paul. I saw that. He did that classic joke. It's been around for ages. He's had more positions than the Kama Sutra. He didn't tell it very well. In fact, he told it terribly, right? But you have got to ask, jokes at the Prime Minister making a joke, fine. The Prime Minister making a smutty joke, I'm not so sure about that. I think that'll backfire on him. Could you imagine having sex with him? Oh, sorry. Sometimes my mind just goes to weird places. But he'd be the most boring man in the world. I could have said, could you imagine going for a beer with him? No bloody pub would let him in, would they? But could you imagine actually having sex with him? He's brought up sex, not me. I just no. No, thank you. Thank you, Paul. Win Saturday, John. Are you talking about Coventry? A bit early to make my decision on that. Kid Charmaine, we need a win. I'll tell you that for sure. Craig Urquhart, he's just given me a super sticker here on YouTube for a $5. Thank you very much indeed. He's clicked the little $sign and donated a $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I really appreciate this as well. Patriot Dan, 1979 on YouTube. He's just donated £2 as well. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much indeed. Kid Charmaine's going to tell me what Niven was on about. NKVD is the Russian secret police. Thank you, my friend. Niven? No more acronyms. You're an ex-copper. You must have a view on this, copper. I'd love to know what my dad. I tell you what, though, I always say I'm so glad I got my dad cremated. Otherwise, he'd be spinning in that bloody grave, wouldn't he? He was a proper copper. Believed the job was all about nicking baddens. Oh, talking of cops, I'm going to get ready, get your diary out. I'm going to praise the BBC. Has anybody been watching that new series? I watched one last night and one the night before with Lisa. It's called, oh no, I've forgotten another one. Harley. No, not Harley. Marley. No. He's a dead, Lindley it's called. He's a dead posh bloke, some landed gentry. And as a young girl, I think she might even be Asian. I'm not quite sure. But she's like working class. And they've been put together. Watch it, stick with it for at least 20 minutes, and then it's great. I think he could be the new Morse. I've really enjoyed them. And they're all on the iPlayer at the moment, so you can watch them. Dazzler Kimru. I never know how to say that. Is that Dazzler Wales, basically? $4.99. Thank you very much indeed. He's just contributed by pressing the little $sign. Thank you very much indeed. Miss you, John, on the radio. Keep up the good work. Stone Island Geezer. Well, I'm not on the radio. No one will give me a job. Why don't you just go to Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube? A little button comes up saying, do you want to subscribe? Say yes. Doesn't cost anything. And then you can look at all my videos. And then you'll know when I'm on and when I'm not on. That's how you watch me now. That's the new way. Nigel Parker, what do you make of Starmer's Kama Sutra joke in Parliament? I think I've just answered that. Terry says, sorry, got to go, but I bought you a beer. You're a top man, Terry. You bought me a beer yesterday or the day before as well. Thank you very much indeed. That's Terry Wheatley. John, and this is a good one. Have you noticed how quiet Gary Lineker and the like are about what's happening in Iran? Yes, I have. And Greta. And you know what? I'm worried sick that they are. They reckon now it's 12,000 they've killed already, murdered. And they reckon they're going to start hanging people today from cranes. Thank God. And God bless Donald Trump. Because he ain't going to take this. The moment that happens, I think he'll be in there. Like a whip it up a drain pipe. And thank God he is. I love the way everyone, the Linekers of this world, the Gretas of this world, all those Ponzi actors, you're right, they've all gone silent. Iran, they're fighting for their country. They're fighting for their liberty, for their women as well. And they're fighting to get back to what they had before. Don't get me wrong. 79 and the Shah, he wasn't a pleasant person either. But it was a more enlightened country. It was more like Turkey is now. Muslim, but kind of secular. We don't want the mad mullahs in charge. Lots of them used to come to Coventry. There's still quite a lot of Iranians. I love the way the Americans call them Iranians or whatever it is. But they're brilliant, nice people. They deserve to be free. But they don't. In the top now, and I say this, top trumps. Do you remember Trump's cars? Cards, you used to get them. There'd be cars, there'd be footballers, whatever. And you had to trump the other player. So it's not about Donald Trump, this. But in terms of, I'm persecuted, top trumps, Iran is nowhere near in the top. It would have no points. Whereas Zelensky's mob, they're right at the top. What's really messed up their logic, their warped, lefty, lovey logic, is what's just happened in Venezuela, where the orange man has liberated them. I can't bear these people. And I've always said, Charlie Wolf told me this, and he's dead right. A strong president means a strong America, and a strong America means a strong world. And I'm ever so sorry, but I believe in our culture, our history, our tradition, our way of life. And may I also say, I think it's better. I'm not saying there aren't aspects of other cultures that aren't interesting, aren't exciting to look at and find out. But I don't want to be anything else. I certainly don't want to be a mishmash. I don't want to be a McDonald's country, if you know what I mean. That no matter which border control you go through, when you get to the other side, it's all the same. No, I like the fact that Britain is Britain. Don't you? So Gary Lineker and that lot, they all make me sick. But I am worried, although I always try to be honest. And if you want to comment on this, feel free. If I'm being completely honest with you, I can't wait for Trump to send in the bombers. I just can't wait for it. Because those mad mullahs, they need teaching a very severe lesson. And I don't think he'll mess around. I just don't think he will. That'll put Starmer in a difficult position, won't it? Iran has been lost since Bowie died. What are you on about? I don't understand how you got that. Kid Shalmain says, I've only just found your channel. Good to see you back. Well, yeah, people are getting to know I'm back. Don't forget I had 1 million listeners when I was on that Poxy radio station. So it'll take time to get them back, but you can do your part by retweeting or whatever it's called nowadays, sharing the stream, telling other people, commenting on the show. It all helps. But the biggest thing is to join Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube. Go there. The first time you go there, a pop-up comes up and it says, do you want to subscribe? Say yes, because it doesn't mean you have to pay anything. It just means you're then on the virtual mailing list, effectively. Every time I do a show, you get told it's coming up. You can also get the archive of all the other videos I've met. And don't forget all of these videos. And don't forget they're live. I call them videos. Most people on YouTube, it's a video. They sit there and they edit it for hours. I don't. It's live. I sit down, I decide what I'm going to talk about, and I talk about it. And then I put it out again later as it's recorded. I don't do anything to it. That's what I think it should be. That's broadcasting, in my opinion. You might have a different opinion. But anyway. But they're all there. So you can get the whole archive. Mostly slagging off Starmer at the moment, but then he's the thing that's ruining our country. Anyway, enough of that. Enough justification. If you like what I do, please feel free to send me a $5 or a couple of quid, or even more if you want. Even more if you want. Easy to do. Just go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. If you're listening later or watching later, you can still send me a super sticker or whatever they're called on YouTube as well. There's plenty of ways you can help. Please do, because it's going to help me carry on with these things. Now, forgive me. I'm going to stop now. Because I want to put this up again at 6 as a repeat for people who've missed it or have come to the show late. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for your contributions. I don't know what you're going on about, lovely lamb mince. He now says, oh, I see. Iman, not Iran. Yeah, you were making a joke about his wife. And then he says, sorry, totally misjudged the chat. Yeah, he did. We're not going to fall out over that, though, so don't worry about it. Right, that's me done. There's no most important thing now is to say this to you. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them. And I'll see you tomorrow. I should be back at my normal time, 6 o'clock probably. Until then, keep listening, keep watching, and keep spreading the word. Thank you very much. Bye.